Your brain is physically changing right now, and you might not even know it's happening. Every day you spend without genuine connection, neural pathways in your mind are quietly rewiring themselves. The parts of your brain responsible for reading faces, interpreting tone, understanding social cues, they're weakening, atrophying, like muscles you've stopped using. This isn't something you chose. It's something that's being done to you by isolation itself. And here's what nobody tells you. The longer this goes on, the harder it becomes to reverse. You're not just lonely. Your brain is literally forgetting how to connect. But it gets stranger than that. See, most people think friendship loss is about personality, that people without friends must prefer it that way. Antisocial, difficult, choosing solitude. They're wrong. The psychology of friendlessness isn't about preference, it's about protection. Think back. For most people caught in this cycle, it didn't start with a choice. It started with a wound. Maybe you were 10 years old, standing on the edge of the playground while everyone else played. Maybe you trusted someone who turned your secrets into gossip. Maybe you watched a friend group drift away like smoke, leaving you wondering what invisible thing you did wrong. Each betrayal taught your brain a lesson. Vulnerability equals pain. Trust leads to disappointment. Opening up invites rejection. So your mind did what minds do. It adapted. It built walls. Not consciously. These aren't decisions you made. They're survival mechanisms, running in the background of your consciousness, keeping you safe. Except now, those walls are keeping everyone out. Here's where it gets cruel. If you've spent years without close friends, you probably possess something extraordinary, emotional intelligence that rivals trained therapists. You've watched human behavior from the outside for so long that you see things others miss completely. That person's smile that doesn't reach their eyes. You caught it. The subtle shift in group energy. When someone's pretending to enjoy themselves, you feel it instantly. The performance of friendship versus genuine connection. You can spot the difference from across a room. This is your superpower, and it's also your prison. Because once you've seen how much of social interaction is theater, how do you participate? Once you've watched people perform friendship for social credit, how do you accept anything less than authentic connection? You can't. So you wait. You wait for someone who feels safe, someone who shows genuine interest instead of social obligation, someone who can handle your depth without running away. But here's the trap. While you're waiting for perfect authenticity, you look distant, uninterested, closed off. The very people who might actually connect with you assume you don't want connection at all. The walls that protect you also make you invisible. Meanwhile, your internal world is getting louder. When external conversation disappears, internal conversation fills the void. You replay interactions endlessly. That thing you said 3 days ago, still analyzing it. That text response that took 4 hours definitely means something. You rehearse conversations that will never happen. You create entire friendships in your imagination. The kind where silence feels comfortable, where you're truly known. This inner world becomes both sanctuary and trap. It's where you can be yourself without judgment, but it's also where thoughts spiral without reality checks, without friends to challenge your perspective. Your thinking can become rigid, distorted. You start interpreting neutral interactions as rejection. A delayed text becomes proof they don't care. A canceled plan becomes evidence you're not worth someone's time. Your brain confirms your worst fears instead of challenging them. And the cruelest part, you know this is happening. You can see yourself doing it, but knowing doesn't stop it. Time changes when you live without friends. Weekends stretch into formless voids. No plans, no texts asking what you're doing, no casual want to grab coffee, just empty hours you have to fill alone. You celebrate victories in silence. You carry disappointments in isolation. You have thoughts worth sharing and nowhere to share them. Your phone hasn't buzzed with a genuine message in weeks, maybe months. You walk through crowded spaces feeling completely invisible. You exist, but you don't matter to anyone in any meaningful way. And society notices. It expects you to have someone to call when something exciting happens, someone to bring to weddings, someone who can vouch for your character. When you don't have these things, you feel like you're failing at being human, so you hide it. You create elaborate excuses. You decline invitations rather than admit you have no one to bring. You perform having a social life you don't actually have. This performance is exhausting, and it keeps you from authentic connection. Then there's your phone. You scroll through Instagram, watching everyone else's friendships play out in high definition. Group dinners, weekend trips, birthday parties with too many people to tag. Everyone else has figured out something you're missing. The comparison is unavoidable, and it's destroying you. But you can't stop scrolling because these tiny windows into other people's connections are the closest thing you have to social interaction. You're not living life, you're watching others live it while you observe from the outside. Some nights you find relief in anonymous forums, digital spaces where you can share thoughts without vulnerability, where you can disconnect if things get uncomfortable. But even these safer connections highlight what's missing in physical reality. They're a reminder that real friendship, the kind where someone knows your face, your voice, your presence, feels impossibly far away. Your relationship with solitude has become complicated. You've learned to be comfortable alone because you've had to be. You've developed rich hobbies, creative pursuits, independent interests. In some ways, you know yourself better than people surrounded by friends ever could. But this comfort is also a trap. The longer you spend alone, the more foreign social interaction feels. The more foreign it feels, the more anxious you become. The more anxious you become, the deeper you retreat into solitude. You've lost practice with basic human connection. Conversation that used to flow naturally now requires conscious effort. You second-guess every response. You overthink your timing. You analyze micro-expressions for signs of boredom. What used to be instinct has become mechanical, like trying to remember how to ride a bike after years of walking. And here's the cruel irony. The thing you need most, practice with human connection, becomes the thing you fear most because you know you're rusty, which makes you nervous, which makes you perform worse, which confirms your belief that you're bad at relationships. The feedback loop tightens with each failed attempt. Without friends to process experiences with, your emotions become distorted. Joy feels hollow when there's no one to share it with. Sadness feels infinite when there's no one to comfort you. Anger turns inward because there's nowhere else for it to go. You become your own emotional processing system, and you save everything up. Stories, experiences, thoughts, hoping that someday you'll have someone to share them with. But when that person finally arrives, if they ever do, the stories feel stale. The emotions have lost their immediacy. You can't dump years of accumulated experiences on someone new without overwhelming them, so you stay quiet. Even when connection finally appears, you've forgotten how to receive it. Your internal critic grows louder in the silence. Without friends to challenge negative self-talk, you become trapped in cycles of harsh self-judgment. The voice in your head becomes judge, jury, and executioner of every social misstep. And it's the only voice you hear consistently. You've developed a terror of being too much. You monitor yourself constantly. Am I sharing too much? Caring too much? Needing too much? This surveillance creates artificial distance. Even when you're physically with others, you're so busy managing your behavior that you can't be present. You've also become a people pleaser, so grateful for any social interaction that you accept treatment you wouldn't normally tolerate. You adapt yourself to what you think others want, hoping that being easy to be around will make people want to keep you around. But this strategy backfires because you never give anyone a chance to know the real you. You become a reflection of their preferences instead of a distinct person worthy of friendship. You're performing connection while preventing it from forming. You notice everything now. When coworkers make lunch plans without including you, when groups form naturally and you're not part of them, when others laugh at inside jokes you'll never understand. You've become an anthropologist of human connection, studying patterns you can't replicate. This observational skill is both gift and curse. It provides insight while highlighting your exclusion. You understand the mechanics of friendship better than people actively participating in them. But understanding doesn't equal belonging. You can see the unspoken hierarchies, the subtle manipulations, the performative aspects of social interaction. You know how it all works. You just can't make it work for you. Some days, you feel optimistic. Things will change. You'll meet someone who understands you. You'll find your people. Other days, you feel resigned, convinced it's easier this way, that you're better off alone. This oscillation between hope and resignation becomes its own form of exhaustion. You spend days preparing for simple social interactions, rehearsing conversations, predicting every possible direction things might go. By the time the meeting arrives, you're emotionally drained from mental preparation. The spontaneity that makes relationships enjoyable has been replaced by calculated performance. And sleep has become a confrontation with loneliness. The quiet evening hours stretch endlessly. Your mind, deprived of external stimulation, turns inward at the worst possible moments. Home becomes the only place you can drop your guard, but it's also becoming a refuge too comfortable to leave, a sanctuary that's slowly becoming a prison. Here's what nobody tells you about isolation. It's not a character flaw. It's not a personal failing. It's not evidence that something is fundamentally wrong with you. It's the result of protective mechanisms that once served a purpose. Your brain learned to keep you safe from pain, and those lessons are still running, but they're now standing between you and the thing your heart craves most. The depth you possess, the sensitivity that makes you hyper-aware of social dynamics, the hard-won self-knowledge you've developed in solitude. These aren't obstacles to friendship. They're exactly what makes you worth knowing. Your brain may have changed in isolation. Neural pathways may have weakened. Social skills may feel rusty. But neuroplasticity works both ways. The same brain that adapted to isolation can adapt to connection. The same mechanisms that built walls can learn to build bridges. It won't be easy. It won't be quick. The walls have been there a long time, and they'll resist coming down. But they can come down, because here's the final truth. Your capacity for deep, authentic connection hasn't disappeared. It's been waiting, protecting itself, growing stronger in the darkness. You haven't lost the ability to connect. You've just forgotten what it feels like. And memory can return. The silence that follows you everywhere. It doesn't have to be permanent. Your phone can buzz again with messages that matter. You can walk through crowds and feel seen. You can share thoughts and celebrate victories and carry disappointments with someone who actually cares. Connection is still possible, even now, even after everything, especially after everything. Because people who've known the deepest isolation often build the deepest connections. They know what's at stake. They know what matters. They know the difference between performance and presence. And they're exactly the kind of friends this world needs more of. The question isn't whether you're capable of friendship. The question is, are you ready to risk it again?